Howdy everyone, Lupin here, and thanks for joining me for another weekly update. We have a couple actually cool topics to talk about today. Really the first one's going to be, I want to start with my very good friend, Annie Roth, did a painting of actually my WoW character, but you can see that she kind of, the sun, moon, and the stars are one at the top there with and the stars actually are the different forms for the druid. And then obviously the Dalazor Zandalari capital was just my druid sitting in the classic mog I'm usually wearing, for this character. And then also too, she's got the trance at the bottom, and then obviously the druid emblem there too. So tons of detail in there. She did a fantastic job. This was something that her and I actually spent a lot of time talking about, and me giving her some backstory since she doesn't play the game, but she wanted to know more and make sure that she fit the theme to it very well. And then also too, my sister got me this for Christmas, which is a mug too that says actually Lupin on it and has the emblem with it too. A Hearthstone memorabilia there. At least that's what I feel like it is. She also got me these socks too, which are really cool. Thank you to Annie for the fantastic painting that she did. Like I said, I'll have a video and maybe some links to some screenshots in the description. And then also, thanks to my sister for this cool stuff. All the Lupin stuff. It's fun. So thank you both for that. You might notice that it maybe looks a little bit better with the video. You might also notice too that I haven't been streaming as much. And this is kind of what I was noticing is that I was very much struggling to play the game on the NVIDIA GTX 960 that I've had for, oh my gosh, probably 6 or 7 years now. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the upgrade. I managed to go to my local micro center and pick up a 3080 of the newest cards, obviously, that are out. So it's the Supremax 3080, right at the top end of my budget, I'll say. And I think it was just pure coincidence that I managed to pick it up. But I'm actually currently too, and I can jump in game here and even go to this. I'm playing on max settings at this point for everything. Comparatively, I should have taken a screenshot before I had my 960. But yeah, it's a night and day difference. I joked with some of the guys in raid this week that I was actually able to see like these weapon enchants now with it. But I'm pretty well impressed. I would also say like too here, just like looking up at Ardenweald, like this is just absolutely beautiful that you can see the stars and everything that's in the trees. Like there's so much more of this game that I'm seeing now because of it. And WoW is not a too graphically intense game, I'll say, but it does have those little details that I think that obviously the artist put in that effort. So very excited to get that purchase out of the way. It's been a very long time coming. I know a lot of people are struggling to get graphics cards right now, so I'm very thankful that I was able to find one with it. So I will actually now be able to stream during raid pretty easily, I'll say, with this card. So very much looking forward to that. Getting back to that streaming, even in recording too. I haven't really been recording nearly as much either, so I might have a little bit of footage playing in the background, but I'm really jazzed to kind of get back into recording some stuff. And then also too, maybe even just play other games as well. I know I want to try out Apex just to kind of see the frame rate and all the color and detail that's in it. So I'm really excited to try something like that. I've been debating on picking up Cyberpunk 2 just because that game's got to look phenomenal on a 3080. The ray tracing is like definitely a thing in WoW, but not nearly, I'd say, is taken advantage of as some of the other stuff. So, and I'm also using a G-Sync monitor as my main monitor too. So I've been able to just really appreciate, quite frankly, all that stuff even too. So very much looking forward to that. Very thankful I got that. And hopefully I can get some more videos recorded for you guys too. Let's talk about Raid, and then I want to actually talk about alts and leave really just that video at this. So Raid, we've been progressing currently. We beat Sun King last week, so we are 4 of 10 currently, and then we were able to re-clear this past Wednesday with a little bit of a struggle on Sun King, but we managed to get it down. There are very tight DPS and healing checks in that fight. It's a bit of a cheese fight, quite frankly. It is the cheese fight of the tier by far. Kael'thas obviously being the individual that you need to heal in the fight. And then when his shade comes down, you need to burst him through these DPS bubbles, essentially, that he puts on himself, while controlling phoenixes and a variety of other mechanics too. Overall, not a super difficult per se fight. It's just very dependent on meeting those different checks. So we managed to get the re-clear of the first 4 bosses on Wednesday. So my guess is that, you know, we're going into Artificer, who we were progressing on and actually making very good progress on last Monday. So tomorrow, when I'm recording this on Sunday, I'm fully expecting us to get a kill, knock on wood. Hopefully it didn't jinx us there. But we are very, very close, I'd say, to an Artificer kill. We got a lot of the seeds, and the overlaps are very difficult for that because of the spell queuing. So we managed to get a lot of very good practice on there, and it was looking like a kill. I think if we would have had maybe 5 to 6 more attempts on it, I think it would have been a kill, quite frankly. So looking forward to that. I will be streaming that. I will be recording that now that I can, and hopefully I can get some more kill videos, because right now I think I just have Huntsman as the only real kill video. The rest of what I'd like to talk about today is really alts. I've had some conversation with some friends about this. A lot of my time has been spent on alts, so I wanted to highlight really in this video what alts are to me, and how I recommend people should approach playing this game, because obviously World of Warcraft is one of those games where you could play 2 hours a day and get enjoyment out of it. You could play the entire day and get enjoyment out of it, but they designed the game at this point purposefully that, you know, obviously you could just literally spend your entire life on the game. I mean, there's just so much to do. There's no possible way to do everything. So I'm going to highlight really my 4 goals that I think are keys to having a successful alt. Okay. And it all is just, you know, net your primary character. And then I know if people aren't raiding competitively or PvPing competitively, they might say, well, I don't really have a main. I just play the game for what it is. And it's like, by all means, feel free. Usually some of us have one character that we are pushing on, which is like, what I mean pushing is like we're doing the more difficult content on that character, because obviously with WoW, everything's gradated as far as difficulty. So you can't just walk into a Mythic 15, for instance, key without obviously doing some prior and having some of that gear prior. I mean, you could go on the auction house and purchase everything, don't get me wrong, but there is going to be some sort of learning curve that any person picking up a new class, just like anything in life, picking up something new, you're going to have that curve of getting to the point where you feel confident in it. So first goal is really stating your goal with your character. For me personally, I tend to gravitate towards like, I really like to do this, or I want to do this. It could just be something as simply leveling a character and getting it, and that could be your goal, which is completely fine. Me personally, I've stated my goal is like, I'd like to PvP on this character, or I'd like to do PvE content. I think that is a very easy window to be in, or goal to state, you know, is I'd like to PvP and PvE, and we'll talk about that in a second too. But state your goal, what you want to do. Without that, it's so open-ended and the game is so vast that you could legitimately do so much in it, okay? By the way, I just now noticed there's like fireflies in the background. If you guys didn't see that before, definitely didn't see that before getting a 3080, so it's pretty cool, pretty cool. Don't overcommit will be my second kind of goal. Like I kind of going back to like this PvE, PvP focus and that sort of thing. It's very easy, like I mentioned, with the amount available to you to do in WoW, that you know, you really can't do everything. So don't overcommit yourself or put expectations on yourself on what you should be doing on a character. If you like PvPing in a certain spec or PvEing in a certain spec, then just do that. And then maybe if you branch out from there, that's great, but don't put it on there like, I need to maintain this, I need to maintain this, I need to maintain this. And quite frankly, if you're trying to maintain more than 1 or 2 things on an alt, you're going to stress yourself out. That's just the nature of the beast with what it is. And my third kind of recommendation is going to be pick a spec and a covenant that, you know, you find fun, okay? And fun is obviously a subjective term, but you know, if you find that you like, you know, Ardenweald Death Knight, for instance, you know, then do it. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing it if that's what you find fun at the end of the day. If fun to you is playing something optimal, like let's say Priest Venthyr, then do it. I mean, if that's what you find, Mind Games is a blast right now. I've been leveling my priest, and it's been a great time. So keep that in mind too, you know, playing a spec in it, because, you know, not first and foremost, for a lot of classes, not all covenants are best for the all specs. So like Druid, for instance, technically if I was playing Guardian, I should be Venthyr. That usually has the highest damage output for Mythic Plus. You know, obviously I'm Night Fae. It's not horrible, it's actually pretty good, but you know, do what you want to, really. I mean, that's the bottom line here. If you're trying to have a character in every covenant, which I would recommend, so you can experience the campaigns for all of them, then by all means, please, you know, do that. I mean, and you know, maybe pick classes or specs that the covenant ability is fun on, right? So, you know, pick a spec and a covenant that you find fun, because why would you want to play an alt that you don't have fun with, right? At the end of the day. So, all in all, also play to your strengths and your likes is going to be my last kind of, you know, recommendation. So the best kind of example I can give for this is like melee, range, healer, tank. Okay, if you want to experience tank, right, then maybe try I know you can trial characters, maybe trial a couple different tanks to see which ones you like if you've never tanked before. Not all of them are the same, not all of them feel the same, and what you might find fun or, you know, like might be different than another person's, right? For example, Vengeance Demon Hunter is broken right now in most Mythic Plus content. They do an absolutely insane amount of damage. They have very high mobility, which some people might like, or some people might just think that that's too much too. Another example is like Guardian Druid, right? Guardian is actually in a fairly good spot, but it's pretty boring to play, if I'll be honest. But some people might like that simpler mindset when it comes to alts. So those are kind of my 4 really big goals that I would like to state, because, you know, and just to go through them: state your goal, don't overcommit, pick a spec and covenant you find fun, and play to your strengths and your likes. Why should you even choose alts to begin with? I mean, my personal opinion is to de-stress. It's very nice to just hop on the game and jump on a character that you don't feel like you need to quote unquote maintain in any way. It is really something fun to do. I mean, if you're going to be PvPing or even in a PvE scenario, you kind of very nice to know what the other classes have at their disposal, their toolkit. Also, for me personally, it's so I don't burn out on my main. I'm like a Druid player at heart. I love my Boomkin. I love playing it, but if I was hopping on and playing 8 hours of Boomkin every single day, I would very likely burn myself out very quickly. And with me raiding too and doing some actual RBGs on top of that, it's very easy for me to get into that because I'm already spending that time playing those specs. An example of this even might be like I tanked our Heroic Reclear as Guardian, and I offered to do that because I just wanted to try a different spec and do something different. I could have gone Boomkin, I could have tried to push for logs, but I didn't really care to. I wanted to have fun, and that was my goal. I stated it and did it. So that is what I really want to spend a little bit of today talking about. I know I've talked about this in my previous videos. I'm actually going to be picking specific classes and specs that I find fun and making guides just around those. And they're not going to be like the high-end rating or high-end, you know, PvP guides by any means. It's just, hey, I picked a spec. For instance, the first one I'm going to do is my Holy Paladin. I've been having an absolute blast on it, doing both PvE and PvP content. So I'm just going to make a maybe 10 to 15 minute video explaining what the class is, why it might be fun for people, why it might not be fun for people, and then kind of breaking down, hey, this is what you should be looking out for, just based on the research I've done, whether it be on Wowhead, some of the Discords and things like that. So that's kind of like the route I would like to go with the channel, mostly because that's the content I'm enjoying right now. So hopefully you guys find it fun too. Looking forward to doing another one of these updates, hopefully in a week with Artificer down. And yeah, be sure to check out Annie's work too with the painting. She did a fantastic job. I'll be linking her Instagram in the video below. And with that being said, everyone have a fantastic rest of your day. All right, yeah.